welcome. Tonight we have like 5 million people, as you can see, 5 million people plus one bird. This is going to be a lot of fun because these are a few of my favorite things. These are my favorite people, and I'm feeling very gravitated towards hanging out with my friends, like getting down to the crux of the matter here, which is like connecting with human beings that I love. Obviously, we'll go into some of the goings on of the days, but I just wanted to hang out with my friends. So hopefully this is set up the same way that I'm looking at it. In the top middle here, it's like Hollywood Squares, guys. We have Jason Alexis. I am going to here's the link tree. If some of my mods wouldn't mind picking up these links so that you guys can find all of these lovely people. This is, see, Jace figured out how to get a Instagram link. Anita?
Smart.
I gave Alexis credit.
Oh, okay.
Good job,
So in
Alexis.
the top middle, we've got Jason
I can make yours
Alexis.
for you too.
Yeah. Fussy from the ozone.
Oh yeah.
The glasses, I don't know.
We've got Aaron, and we've got Aaron separately from Journey to Truth podcast, and then we have Tyler from Journey to Truth podcast, who is coming to us live from ECETI with our very own James Gilliland, who looks awesome. And then we have Anita Rose back from last week. Like I said, these are just my buddies, my favorite people. I'm really excited that you guys are with us. We have Willow on top of Jace's head. Willow has been on top of my head. Willow gets around. Willow's been on his head.
He does.
So I want to start because before we were talking, actually, James was telling us he got a message last night from the Pleiadians, right?
Yeah.
Let's start there.
The whole group. Well, basically what happened was I just asked some questions, and I was trying, like everybody, I was trying to get it nailed down to when is this going to go down? When is it going to go down? And I straight up, I go, is there really a plan? Is this going to happen? I kept getting yes, but it's going to happen when you least suspect it, because anybody that's talking about a date when it's going to happen has kind of spilled the beans. It's supposed to be a surprise. And so it's, it's better not to know, and I told him I don't want to know because I don't want to say anything that might jeopardize somebody or get somebody hurt or whatever, because it's an ongoing operation and all this stuff. But they told me that, and I asked them about the White House, and they said that they've cleaned that up. They've cleaned the reptilians out of there and the other stuff. And then I asked them about the ships over the White House. I saw these ships, and I didn't get a good feeling from these ships. And they said they were allowing some of them to leave and some of them wouldn't leave, so they had to take them out by force. But those were actually them loading up, leaving some of the ships. There's been different ships. There's been Orion Council of Light ships, Pleiadian ships, and they had some reptilian ships were there. They were actually, they cut a deal with them and said, you're forgiven, just get out of here, just leave, So that was some of the information that I got, and they've cleaned that up. And a lot of that fencing was for that around the White House. That's why all the barbed wire, everything's on the inside. They're built to be taken apart from the outside, not the inside. So it's to keep things in and make sure things don't get out, But
yeah.
So it's that's just the information I got so far. And I asked about a lot of the kids, where they're taking kids and things like that. And they said because the Orion Council of Light, those groups have gone through those wars and gone through all that stuff. They really know how to rehabilitate the kids and how to heal them and things like that. They're very, because they had to do that with their own planets and their own colonies and things like that. So they're working in a major way too. So they're all kind of participating, basically.
I've been working with you all day long, and you're just now telling me all this?
You heard it here first, Tyler.
You know the ships? Do you know the ships that he's talking about? There's a photo with 3 diamond-shaped craft above the White House.
No.
Yeah, they look like black like a gray cloud, but in the shape of a diamond. There's 3 of them.
They're dark. They're real dark.
They're dark, and there was a few different photos. So it almost just, you wouldn't really notice it if you didn't know you were looking for a UFO. But it's interesting.
You know what's funny about that is that before I even knew James, I sent him a message. I knew who he was, and I sent him a message. I don't even know if he got it because I don't remember what platform I sent it to him on. But I was in the park by my house, and I look up, and there was a dark gray, like perfect triangular cloud. And then there were a ton of white clouds. It was the only gray cloud. It was a perfect triangle, and it just made me laugh. I was like, yeah, nice try, guys. So I took a picture of it, and I sent it to James. That was like my first contact with him. But I wonder if it is like that kind of thing. When was that picture taken of those ships? Or when?
That was, what, a couple days
2
ago?
days ago, I think.
2 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like when this whole, like all this activity is going on at the White House right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, that was it. And then they kept talking a lot about the multi-dimensional aspect of this. Like a lot of the other stuff's being cleaned up, and it's paving the way so that the ground crew doesn't have to go up against these other forces, which wouldn't really be fair, you know. So they're cleaning out these other unseen or high-tech negative influences, you might say. They're cleaning them out. So to kind of protect the other guys, you know, as they do their work.
Yeah. It goes to show you when we get complacent, we're like, oh, nothing is happening. There's a very good chance that a lot is happening that we just have absolutely no idea about.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it on the surface. I have a feeling that most things, I have a feeling that very little actually slips through the cracks to the population.
Yeah.
And that most of everything else is going on kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's all these things going on that don't make sense because, you know, like I'm still riding on Air Force One, you know, and I think Biden's group painted up a smaller plane to make it look like Air Force One or some clone. I don't know what it is, but you know, you see all this other stuff going on, and it doesn't make sense. You know, the controlled narrative that we're given it doesn't match that at all. You know, he's not in the White House. He's at that, what's that place called? Castle Rock or something like that.
Castle Rock Entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, everything, nothing is making sense. You know, he doesn't even know what he's signing. You know, and he's signing blank pieces of paper. And you know, we watched all that. None of it makes any sense when you look at it. But you know, I really do think the military and the higher dimensional beings are in control, and this has been set up to happen like 50 years ago. It's been planned out.
So did you guys see and did anybody watch the Super Bowl? I don't know. But pre-game, they had Biden and Jill come on, and they on the Jumbotron or whatever, and they were giving a talk about COVID and blah, blah, blah. And the place started booing them.
Yeah.
But what I thought was interesting, I went back and watched it again. It sounded like they were in a hollow warehouse with the worst audio possible. Like if this was the president, wouldn't you think they would have it like set up where it really sounded good? It was like the worst. We haven't even interviewed somebody with this like pingy of a audio. You know, it just sounded like shit. It's like,
yeah,
it's just funny to me. Like they're not even trying.
Yeah, exactly. There are so many little things that we are all like picking up on, or obviously everybody's sharing this information around. And also with that information, a lot of kind of misinformation or gets passed with it. People jump the gun on some stuff, but you know, you can't get down on people. That's what we're here to do. We have to be sharing things, and then it's a group effort, right? And then we're like, oh no, actually, like remember when the pictures recently of the Oval Office were going around? People were like, what is this crack in the wall? And then it turns out it's actually, there's a door there, and there's many pictures of this door. So it's not a crack. It wasn't a set falling apart. There actually is a door there, but, you know, stuff like that. You've got the good information coming in. You've got the really good decodes that people are putting, connecting dots themselves. Then you've got purposeful misinformation, people trying to muddy the waters, and make us look stupid. Then you've got people who just like jump on any kind of bandwagon because they are kind of emotionally connected to
Yeah.
you know, the way that it makes them feel
Yeah.
when they feel like they're on the right track. So I don't know. For me, I have been, I've had a good solid 2 years of really scrutinizing every piece of information as it comes in. And right now I feel like I'm in a phase where I'm really pulling back my view and just kind of taking it all in and allowing myself to laugh, which is at how ridiculous everything is, which is you people are all really good for. But what are some of the things that you like? Are you guys all, I'll start with Jason, Alexis. Are you guys paying attention? Well, Jace, you're like a cryptocurrency, like that's like your thing. Like, you know, more than anybody I know about that stuff. So that was kind of cool to see that come up recently. You're like, hey, this is my thing. So I know you were paying really close attention. Sorry?
I'm still really fresh to it too. Like I've only really been studying it and researching it for like 6 months, but I was kind of before that very much opposed to it because I kind of just considered it to be the generic NWO timeline and like the AI timeline, and I didn't really see any virtue in it because I didn't really understand it. And when I started really diving into and researching it more, I found that just like with, you know, every other field and space in society right now, there's like wars going on. Just like in, you know, the traditional financial space and on Wall Street and the international markets and everything, there are these wars going on between dark and light. And I quickly found when like really diving into this, you know, it started to become more obvious to me, like which were which. And, you know, like Bitcoin being the big one that brings everyone into that space. I ended up learning a lot more about how the dark uses that specifically because it is so open source and free and anyone can use it. Dark and light can use it equally, but the dark seems to have most control over it right now. So yeah, it's been a fascinating discovery.
Jace, really quick. I was helping Loyal to the Foil make her intro video, and we were Googling and looking up stock footage for it. And we typed in weapons of the future, and under a few different searches, Bitcoin comes up when you type in weapons of the future. It's interesting.
Wow.
We were like,
dang. What? I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already a weapon right now.
You would think that it would be a tool that they could use for some very dirty stuff, basically. So I'm with you on that. I could see where that is. But it's kind of like, you know, you say you're new to it. It's kind of like the Q thing where people are like, oh, well, this person kind of came out of nowhere. Well, everybody did because it hasn't been around that long. I mean, cryptocurrency has been around for a while, I guess, but not to the capacity that it is right now. People, like your average person, is starting to pay attention more now to cryptocurrency and
Dogecoin is blowing up right now. That's like the big meme after the GameStop thing happened, and Elon started tweeting about Doge, and now Doge is like the thing that everyone's getting into, and Elon's even trying to make it like, it seems like he wants it to be the currency of Earth. That's what he's pushing towards, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can't get my finger.
Weird that
I can't figure out Elon is what I was about to say. No. I have no idea what his deal is. But I do know about the Dogecoin just because of the memes. You know, this is the world that we live in. And then Alexis, on the opposite end of that, you've been around kind of forever with like how do we put this, like the cosmic stuff, like you're like the OG of like space weather and what's going on out there, right? So you tell us about that. Is there sure this is obviously an element that people don't really make the connection to, that has such an effect on what's going on here. And when people get, you know, even with the political stuff, there is an effect with the energies going on out there and what's going on Earth, correct?
Yeah, that was part of the thesis that I began my blog with, was to see if there was a direct or at least a close enough connection between like solar ejections and so on, which are constantly happening, and then even the Schumann resonance, which is a big popular topic. And it was, when I jumped into it, I didn't know about it in my psych degree, but then a huge gap of why people are still suffering and why there's so many anomalies that we can't explain, and people are just medicating because they're sensitive to this electromagnetic shift of when a coronal mass ejection is hitting Earth, and when the, I don't know, even the radio interference and so on that the military is doing within cavity and trying to speak to the satellite, trying to block. Learned all about the science and how these, frequencies that do get stimulated from the cosmic realm and then even from like the earthly realm, they all wrap together with people's symptoms and also with the geopolitical sort of realm. And so I can often predict when these days are going to happen, or at least something's going to happen where there's going to be a movement of mankind forward when I see all of this space weather coming in. And so it's been nice to be able to just continually report on that and blog about it and meet more people and get their opinions about it. And I came from it from a humble beginning, and now I have this background now of quite a few years now of doing this, and I'm grateful for that because I'm able to see these patterns, and I'm also able to see where people are accentuating and blowing things out of proportion for viewership, or just because they're experiencing fear when they're seeing this data. And it's funny because the crypto thing and then the Q thing and the political realm, and then people panic about all these other random things that happen, they all seem to mesh together. So I've just been monitoring that area, but each of us have been monitoring a specific vein of like what is causing the globe to change and our whole like collective consciousness. So it's just what I've been able to connect with so strongly.
Yeah, I love that because it to me, what got me when I went through my awakening and I was starting to notice other people going through their awakening, it was like no matter where you started, whether it was spiritual, whether it was political, whatever it was, they all come together. Every single avenue meets. And so this is such a perfect example of that. We've got so many people taking a look at this from a different perspective and all kind of seeing the craziness and realizing that it is all connected. Like two things that you would think would have nothing really to do with each other. Not just two, like a million things. But those in particular are a really good example of that. And Aaron, I know you are a reader, and what are you paying attention to? Are you still kind of staying on top of current events right now, or what are you kind of where has your focus been like in this last, let's say, since the inauguration? Because that was the time, the change for me.
Yeah. To a certain degree, I am. I'm not as much as I used to be. I'm not like trying to figure out every single thing that's going on and really scrutinizing everything. These days, I'm taking it in as much as I'm doing Journey to Truth podcast. I have to be somewhat on top of what's going on, but I don't get caught up so much in it these days. But yeah, generally I kind of just try to follow along, and it's pretty clear to me like there's everything we're seeing on the surface is like a smoke screen and is like a show pretty much. And the real stuff is mostly all going on behind the scenes. Like James was talking about, there's a massive cleanup going on, and most of it's hidden from the public. But those of us, like everyone here, we can kind of see these little clues and hints that kind of pop out to us that point to what's really going on. Right. So, So we can kind of be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. This is fake. This is what this is, Right. But, the most important thing is to not let yourself get caught up in the external and put all your hope and your happiness and everything into like what appears to be going on, and like, just staying in your heart and working on yourself and doing the inner work is the most important thing. That's what I've been trying to focus on lately. And I've been reading a lot. I do like reading, so I'm always trying to find a good book that kind of like helps me with that. Or Yeah.
I think that you guys kind of, for Journey to Truth has always been kind of looking at the broader picture, just like James and Isetti and what he talks about. So you guys have already been in that kind of position where you have been looking at the bigger picture of what the broader scale is going on in like spirituality and all of that. So I feel like you were already primed to be in that. Like that's probably what we all should have been doing the whole time. Let's face it. But a lot of people like me got really caught up in the day-to-day details and like knowing like what was. I mean, I don't regret it. I'm really glad that I learned so much over these.
It's where you were at the time too. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's at their own place there.
Totally.
And it led you to, you know, to integrate it with the spirituality and the
Yeah.
deeper aspects. And that's the most important thing, because if you just stay on that level, then you're just kind of stuck there.
Right.
But if you let it lead you into the deeper truths and the deeper stuff, then it's a stepping stone. You know, I look at it that way.
Totally. I didn't even really think about that, but I probably needed that catalyst to like get pissed, because I've always been interested in all of this stuff. But I do think I needed that catalyst to like get pissed and really hyper focus on what was going on in our world and the corruption in order to activate me. But that's me. And obviously not everybody needed that. Anita, like me, is like activating in that same way. I think like, you know, you've been paying attention maybe even for longer than I have. I don't even remember, because it's been a week since you've been on my show. So that's I don't remember when your awakening was, but was it before mine?
Really safe.
Yeah. So my awakening.
I have to go, guys. Click. Just kidding.
My awakening, interestingly enough, happened through Alexis Buck and Ascension Diaries. I've been watching. Yeah.
Nice.
I've been keeping up with Alexis's reporting on the Schumann resonance since 2015, I think it was, right? Or 2016, 2015, something like that.
I think I checked the other day, and I think it's either 16 or 17 actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I started learning about the Ascension. I think it was 2015, but I think I started following you maybe 2016. But yeah, I've just been on an endless rabbit hole, search for truth, search for information since then. And recently, I've really turned inward, finally. You know, I'm not giving my power away to everybody else and looking for the information externally. I feel like I'm almost in like a Jedi training right now. Like I'm really searching for like self-mastery. So that's what I've been doing recently. I'm kind of on a social media cleanse. I'm not looking for intel. I'm not looking for news. I'm just trying to focus solely on myself right now. So.
Right. Which I think puts you in the perfect position to take people along with you, because there are a lot of people right now that are just waking up, or they're just kind of like identifying with being awake. Like, oh, wait, I'm feeling a little different. I think my perspective is changing. So let's see who else out there is, you know, kind of talking about these things that I'm starting to be interested in. And so I do think it's important for people like you, people like all of us that are starting to kind of really go through that, to share it with other people, so that people, you know, you pull people along with you.
Yeah, totally. And I have a lot of big ideas. I have a lot of things coming, hopefully, but I also have 4 children, and I'm trying to put a lot of my focus on them right now. So the other stuff's gonna just come slowly and naturally. I'm not like rushing it.
Right. Exactly. All in due time. I do like, I am starting to feel a little bit more like we might be here for a while. Are you guys starting to feel that way?
Definitely feeling that way.
Which is a good and a bad thing. This is a beautiful lesson in it's being the journey and not the destination, right?
Exactly.
The journey to truth, if you will.
Heyo.
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 Well, Tyler is Eddie Seti, so he's completely checked out, right?
Not as much as you think. You sit at the dinner table with James, and he fills you in every night.
That's true.
No, but there hasn't been much time. You know, we're here building a yoga studio, and James has pretty much a slave driver, so there's not.
Oh yeah.
No, so
Probably take him.
what?
I said you could probably take him. He's wearing enough clothing. It'll probably weigh him down.
Definitely.
Hey, we just came right off the deck to do this. I mean, we're putting the deck up. By the way, Tyler built the most awesome deck I think I've ever seen. It was amazing.
Yeah, he
But,
was sending me some deck pics.
Yeah.
Unsolicited
I
deck.
want deck pics,
Unsolicited
Tyler.
deck pics.
Uh-oh.
They're all right.
Unsolicited deck pics. Well, thanks, James.
Come build me a deck.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That joke could go in so many different directions. I'm just gonna zip it.
No, it's funny. It's funny working with James, watching him crawl around at his age, and I'm like, I can definitely tell you've already died twice.
At his age, I love like you talk about him like he's some elderly man. I actually took a picture of James while I was at ECETI, and he was either playing basketball or throwing a frisbee or like a one of those things that come back.
Boomerang, yeah.
Boomerang, yeah,
Boomerang?
it might have been the boomerang. And he looked like a 23-year-old, like spry dude on the beach. I was like, what? It's crazy, but you just have you live that lifestyle. I get it's like it's. I think it's because James is such a happy guy. You know, it keeps you young.
Bad humor.
And the humor and the aliens probably don't hurt either.
Mhm.
Hey, I wanted to mention something about. I love that work that you're doing with the solar energy and things, but we found out back in I'm not going to say it because it'll date myself, but when we were talking about that there's so many things happening. There's these massive energy waves hitting the Earth right now that are coming through of unknown origin. They don't even know where they're coming from. And then you've got the solar flares, the coronal mass ejections, and then the Schumann resonance is also being affected, which is totally off the scale. And all of that stuff, it starts out affecting our bioelectric fields, and it creates social economic changes, all that. We get kind of crazy. And then you got these full moons and 7 planets aligned right now on top of that. But then it creates severe weather and crazy weather. And now this big polar express is directly because of this big flare that hit us, is pushing the winds down and the big freeze. But then it goes into earthquake and volcanic activity. So it starts at a higher frequency and moves down into more solid effects as the proton stream hits us. But it's right now, it's off the scale. We're moving through a highly energized place in space, and it is affecting everybody's bioelectric fields, and people are just going bat, crazy. I don't know if I want to say the other word, but yeah, it's insane. And a lot of times I won't even leave the ranch. I look up and I go, oh man, full moon, major solar flare hitting. I'm going to wait a couple days, and then before I deal with people and deal with the masked Nazis, And
It's true. We basically had to drag him to the hardware store. He didn't want to leave.
yeah, the humans are rough.
Well, I agree, and it's crazy. If I actually reported on all the layers and stuff, there's still stuff that they don't publicly report on, like those other. Like the other cosmic energies that are coming in that are not coming off of the sun, because all of a sudden there is like an ion avalanche, like the Schumann goes off and we're like, okay, well, where did that even come from? And then the earthquakes and the volcanoes go off like the same time or that day, and even the aurora sometimes will light up and we're like, wait, I didn't even see where that came from. And that's been the cool part about the blog too, because it's helped people open up that other side, being like, okay, there is more moving around and hitting us and more of this cosmic energy. And that was part of the thesis too. Like if we are moving into this like plasma belt, or maybe there's another word for it, but this heightened energy, like we're rotating into it with this Milky Way or whatever the theory was, I was like, well, we'll probably be able to capture it, and it's just going to expand people's minds. And I think it's helped people have like a more global awareness and become global citizens, and also like even the like citizen of the Milky Way, citizen of the galaxy, citizen of the universe more so. I think it's helped open that door. And it's just been a miracle. Like it's opened my own mind, and it's opened my abilities, and even talking about like DNA upgrading and being informed by the cosmos, and we're constantly shifting and activating. And then of course, then the other argument, like you mentioned earlier, with the Pleiadians and so on, like these other star races and so on, also having a hand in this, and when they show up, and how to decipher what action and what are they doing. And I've had moments where I've seen that, and it's hard to even explain it or even try and like bring that up, but I try to. But it's it's been fun. Like you start working with these energies, and then they start talking to you. They're like, well, guess what, about tomorrow, and you're like, okay. And and it happens, and you're like, I guess I better write a blog.
Yeah, the higher dimensional beings are actually working with those cycles and working within those waves of energy as they come through. And it's activating our DNA. And you know, everybody's becoming more telepathic lately. And also we're having vivid dreams. We're seeing the future and our past. We're processing past life stuff. And then even that salamander gene where we can heal very quickly is being activated. So all these DNA lines are being activated, and we are definitely, you know, going through an ascension process. And, you know, not everybody's going to make it. We have to realize that there's some people that have chosen, you know, another path, and we just have to practice loving detachment. And you know, they have that divine right to stupidity, you know, that they can exercise at any time. So,
it's so true. I love
their free will.
that you guys brought up the special things that people are unlocking, because it really is true. And when people look at this as we're not just waking up because like, oh, we're starting to figure out information. There's something cosmically going on with us where we are getting upgraded. And have you guys noticed any like abilities unlocking in yourselves specifically? Because I'm here. Jace, how long have you played the Didge? Or is that a new thing?
It's been like not too long.
Is
it's
that
all,
you're unlocking?
I guess so.
It was.
It definitely brought back a lot of.
You just got the didgeridoo.
Brought back all my Australian Aborigine past life memories, and especially now that I have a cockatiel, also Australian, I have all that native Australian energy in the house. So
Yeah,
I play the cockatiel. All right, I play the Didge with the cockatiel.
In Australia, you see whole
What was
flocks
the
of parrots in Australia.
Oh.
Just massive flocks of cockatoos.
Really?
They're black and white ones. And I go, God, I think $3,000 just flew over my head, you know? It's like, you know, the price of those things, you see a massive flock and they're pests there. You know, they eat all their fruit and everything. So it's interesting.
Yes.
Down under.
But
Okay, so tell me about some of the
abilities wise,
unlocking. Like the abilities. Well, actually, for example, when we were all at ECETI this last summer, a few of us came home and we were all having the same dream. Like we would be together in the dream and be talking to each other the next day and be like, "Holy shit, we had the same dream last night."
Mm-hmm.
I never.
Well, we're all working together on the other dimensions. You know, we're all you know, doing things on other dimensions together.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of like past life memories, of course, but then also like alternate life and future life memories, if that makes sense. Like receiving, like literally remembering the future, which sounds really weird, but it like that's been coming into my field more, especially as I've been clearing out more of the shadow. And like we've been doing a lot of shadow work, which is the term we give to like diving into the trauma and healing it and addressing it rather than like trying to run from it and push it away, which is kind of what we've been conditioned to do as like a society. We're kind of conditioned to just push it all in and don't cry, don't talk about it, like just suck it up. But since we've been really diving into that shadow work is when our abilities have really been coming to the surface, and we've been getting more of the telepathic kind of communications with each other and with our friends, and our energy bodies are lighter when we go through the shadow work. Like it's literally like on my last live, I talked about it akin to like throwing up. It's like, you know, back in the day when you used to like party and get drunk, if you did, you know, you'd get to the point where you were going to throw up, and sometimes people would try to keep it in, but then the energy would just build and you'd throw up. And then after that purge, you feel so much better and lighter. And you're like, oh man, I'm so glad I threw up. It feels so good. And it feels like the shadow work is like almost the allowing it to just come out of you. And then acknowledging it and honoring it rather than shaming it and locking it away in some safe that you don't want to ever touch again.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the key to unlocking our abilities, at least at this moment. That's what we've been going through.
Totally. I loved it the other day. Alexa said her favorite chakra clearing was a really good sneeze.
That was so funny.
That was so cute.
Yeah.
Well, you have a
That's
near
good.
experience and a sneeze.
Yeah.
You actually die for a second.
Oh. Way to suck the fun out of that, James. My favorite thing.
It's a good
Yeah.
And-
Oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
Oh, I was going to say with those clearings too, and like trying to clear it out, and engaging with sunlight again, that's what makes me sneeze the most, and actually engaging physically with sunlight and physically with nature and so on. And it's those abilities have gotten broader for myself too. And the communication between me and these other entities that live on this earth with me or are projecting towards this earth, like the wisdom and the age of the sun. It's like I'm activating a lot of abilities to have these conversations that I never knew were even there. And now I'm having conversations with a greater power, with a greater wisdom that I'm able to tap into. We're all of us are through our hearts and so on. Like so many people have taught me this and talked about this, and it's true. And being able to speak and know the answers and feel that knowing and get deeper to that voice, that knowing, instead of the mind trying to make all these decisions and think through things and be afraid of things and avoid things because they could be painful or because you can't do it or it's too dangerous or so on. And I've been able to, my mother has abilities as well inherently to psychic abilities in a way where she can just, touch somebody or be around someone and see images in her third eye and so on. And when I was younger, I didn't know those terms, but I knew I could do it because my mother could do it. So I moved towards that. And also she was having ET contact and all this stuff. So I knew about these things through her. And then I was like, I want to know more. And I've been able to activate those abilities in myself. And I do sessions with people now, and I just get information and see things, and I share and help ask the right questions and help clear all those things and blocks and doubts that people have just by being that firm cheerleader in a way and getting these images and asking the right questions. And I know a lot of people who have these abilities now, and we are talking to each other and we engage with each other. And I love, and it's nice too, when you do activate these abilities to still have somebody and friends around you who are also having similar experiences, because it can be, it's a little bit strange sometimes. And it's comforting to know that if I needed a second opinion, or if I had a question about an ability, or something starts that I know my friend is good at, like astral projecting. If I started astral projecting all of a sudden, I'd know who to contact about that if I had any questions, because that hasn't been my particular thing. But lucid dreaming is a big one, psychic abilities and so on. Empathic abilities are a big one too. And during these shifts too, when the energies come in, and you can even scientifically report these energies coming in, that's when people are also like, wow, I had the most lucid dream in my life. Wow, I had an out-of-body experience. Wow, my ear rang when I had a thought and it confirmed my thought. And these things are like coming on, heart palpitations and telepathy. And my animals and us are super telepathic. And I thought I was good with animals in the past, but now it's like, as soon as I start thinking in the morning, like when I'm waking up and I'm finally starting to think, my dog knows. He knows I'm awake and he comes running and he wants things from me. But it's like, it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
I was thinking Willow does the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was looking for him. Where'd he
He's
go?
over here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Willow and I have become very telepathic. Like as soon as I wake up too, he just starts screaming.
It's funny. They have me sleeping in a room here where I'm pretty sure I'm time traveling every night. I don't know what's going on
Nice.
in there. But I woke up the other night and like the whole room, like I felt like a vortex.
You are.
I mean, it was, but it was like the room, like I felt like it was right there in front of me.
Yeah.
And then I heard some activity and somebody walking around out in the house. And the next day I come to find out nobody was in there the night before. So I don't know what I was hearing or who I was hearing. And I got up to use the restroom. It was like 3:18. I came back and I laid back down. I just felt that it was like buzzing, and I'm laying there for about 20 minutes trying to go back to sleep, and I can't. And I just pick up my phone to mess around and I look at my phone and it's 6 in the morning. And I swear I just went pee at 3:18. And like 20 minutes later, I was so confused. I could just like missing time. Something happened.
That's kind of normal here. That's kind of happens to everybody.
It was a crazy.
Squatches took you.
Squatches, yeah.
Should put that in the brochure, James.
Yeah, we're getting these strange footprints here. I mean, I put it on. I put it on Facebook. I called it Coonzilla, and this raccoon that has feet as big as a human. I don't know what it is. Came walking through our yard, but we have these other little baby feet, like a really small person, really little.
Yeah.
Walking around, and usual Bigfoot tracks are around too now and then, but we're seeing tracks of things we don't even know what they are. One looks like a hoof in an area that nothing could get into, and these hoofs start moving, and then all of a sudden they just disappear. They're walking straight ahead, and then so something with hooves and wings, which doesn't sound too good.
Unless it's a unicorn.
A
griffin.
Well, it left. It flew off. So crazy stuff we're seeing. Can't explain some of the tracks we've been seeing lately, but that's what happens here with the vortex. Things pop in and out and appear and disappear. So it's a pretty interesting place to hang out.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity there for sure. I don't want to put Aaron or Anita on the spot, but
well, I spoke about a lot of this last week on your show, so I didn't want to bore everybody by telling my story again.
This is never boring.
Yeah, I have to agree with everything Alexis said. Just in the last few months, my intuition, my empathic abilities, telepathy, basically all of the above have kind of awakened in the last few months. I too come from a mother and a grandmother who had, I guess, spiritual gifts, but they never really explored them. They never really did anything with them. It was something that was kind of always understood in my family, but they never worked with them and they never really taught me anything. But just in the last few months, everything's kind of like awakening inside of me. So I'm really trying to explore all of that and bring it out more, and being able to like harness it and use it to help others. And I'm finding that people are finding me to help them. Like, I'm not even really broadcasting anything. I'm not really, advertising, and just friends who are like in need of help are finding me, and I'm able to help them. So that's cool.
Yeah. It seems like the things that we've probably always been able to do, we're either unlocking them or we're just learning how to use them. I think a big part of learning how to use them is getting rid of your self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Because these ideas will pop into your mind. I've actually seen a few times over the last couple of days, so I don't know if it's synchronicity or if this is just something that's coming up more recently, is that actually this was in my session also with Allison Coe. She was like, whatever pops in your mind within the first 5 seconds is your higher self. And then anything that's coming after that is the ego, because the ego is going to be like, no, wait, hold on, pump the brakes. Maybe not. Maybe you just made that up. But anything that pops into your mind first is typically coming from your higher self. So we mostly have been taught in society when those first, unless you're James, when those first thoughts come in, to be like, no, don't say that. You need to scrutinize it and make sure that you're saying the right thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we know more than we think we do. I wonder, like, James, you've been in this for so long. Is it kind of funny to you to watch everybody kind of like newly learning how to walk around you?
You know what? What's really interesting is the younger generation is coming in already loaded, And like, I had to work my ass off to get where I am, although the near-death experiences kind of kicked me off that. But the a lot of the younger generation, and funny, because you almost read my thoughts when you said that about doubt. It's so important. It's like when the energy starts coming through, it's like a river, and it's going to throw a lot of mud and there's gold in there too. But eventually it's going to clear out and it's going to become really clear. And so you just have to, don't judge yourself and just let it flow and just keep practicing. And then pretty soon you're going to have a very clear stream. And that's just the way it works. And the more you work on clearing out any old wounds and traumas and wrong conclusions from past experiences, that's going to help that flow. But when I was doing this, and when channeling first came out, all of a sudden everybody wanted to be a channel, and they're channeling beings from the astral level, their own subconscious, and there was no real training involved, unfortunately. And so it got really skewed for a while, and it's coming back around again, which is nice. But there are tools for safeguards for pure channeling, and it's really important to heal any unseen negative influences, to create sacred space before you do things. And I think that's one of the things where people get in trouble, especially in the UFO community. They're saying open to anything, let anything come in, and there's a guy out there, I won't mention his name, doing that, and it's really dangerous. It's the height of, it's actually malevolent activity when you're doing stuff like that. But you really have to use discernment. Because, just because you're dead doesn't mean you're enlightened, and just because you're an ET doesn't mean you're benevolent. So it is important, not to create fear, but it's just common sense that to clear your space and make sure who you're talking to. And we have a saying: if you don't like what you're feeling, do a healing. If it doesn't feel right, clear your space, start over.
Yeah, we need a that was beautiful, but we did skip Aaron, and I want to hear what Aaron has to say.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I can fly.
You know what, dude? I would not doubt it.
My big secret.
Aaron,
I would be the least surprised if, out of all of you people, if Aaron just started levitating. He was like, "Bye, guys," and he floated out the door. I'd be like, "Makes sense."
He's like, "Oh yeah, I could see that."
Aaron would be like the monk out of all of us. He's like the monk in the cave. Like, he's just always so peaceful and happy, and I've never even seen you get triggered.
It's like you're Ben.
Yeah. Except
oh, it happens.
Yeah. The one time I did see you get mad. Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, but yeah, I mean, the energies obviously have been off the charts, and I've been affected by that as well. But over the last few years, I've learned to kind of ride those waves. And I don't know, I don't have like a lot of abilities or any, like I hear a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I'm clairvoyant," or I get these crazy dreams, or I do get crazy dreams sometimes, once in a while. But
we know who you are. You can't hide it from us.
Yeah.
Fearless says that Aaron has 7 toes on each foot.
Yes. Exactly.
We're going to give you a picture that says, "I'm just sitting here." You're the perfect candidate for that. Just observe.
Yeah. I need that shirt. I definitely need that shirt. No, but I do get like these knowings. Is the best way I can put it, where like I'll just know something, and then I'll like check on it, and it's like true, or or I'll get like a thought in my head, and then something will happen, or that person will show up, different things like that. And I guess you could call those synchronicities as well. I do get a ton of like synchronicities, and I look at the clock and it's 11:11 or 3:33 or whatever, all that stuff. I get those constantly, just nonstop.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I do. Well, I'm an empath as well, so I feel I'm always kind of feeling what other people are feeling around me, and the general energy kind of going on, and I kind of have to make sure I protect myself. I don't get overwhelmed with that, because I used to easily, like going out in large crowds and stuff like that used to be rough.
Yeah. Until
I learned to kind of deal with that, but yeah, I mean, there's so much happening right now on the planet. It's kind of intense right now. So I don't know. I kind of just find it. I don't know. I like my alone time.
Yeah.
Like unless I'm going to like a conference or something where I'm around people like you guys, where I feel like it's like, oh, okay, now I'm with my people. Like, this is amazing.
Right.
But otherwise, I hate going out or like, you know, being around a lot of people. And yeah.
I think most of us feel that way right now. And you are, I mean, I always get that just even being around you. I can tell you just like to take everything in. And,
Yeah.
you know, you would seem kind of from on the surface like a really passive guy. And you are, like I said, you're an observer. But at the same time, something I think people might not realize about you is that you have a very strong protective energy for other people. And I've seen that come out of you before. And I was like, whoa, Aaron, like, it
Yeah.
was badass. It was awesome. And so
I definitely do.
What's that saying?
There.
Still waters run deep. So there's a lot stirring underneath the surface, and you know, we can't all be crazy.
Grounder, you know, with me, when I'm around Aaron, he's like, I have a lot of friends like Aaron, and I call them second opinion, you know, and they're very grounded, you know, and they're observing everything, and so you don't go off the deep end and go off that cock. You always go to your second opinion person. Go, am I off the deep end here? You know, am I losing it? And they go, I saw the same thing. You okay? You know, but that's really good. I mean, that's a compliment, actually. So,
yeah. Oh, it totally is.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that, James.
We can't all be crazy like Tyler.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, can we talk about Starseed Adventures?
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, so
it'd be funny if I said no.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to talk about it. So their tickets are running low, guys. Starseed Adventures Conference in Cocoa Beach, Florida, March 11th or 12th through the 14th. I think there's like 15 tickets left or something like that. I think Kate is putting a link in the chat right now.
Yep.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. They're not selling many tickets. It's pretty exclusive. Mm-hmm. And there's like no VIP status or anything. Everybody's going to be together. You're going to be hanging out with all the speakers, all in the same room. It's like they're calling it a vacation conference. So it's like half day is speakers. The other half of the day is your own time. And that's like one of the biggest complaints when people go to a conference is you don't have enough time to mingle. It's just, you know, speaker, lunch, dinner, you know, whatever. I said lunch twice, but you know what I meant.
Hey, that's my kind of day. I'll go to that conference.
Yeah. No, so it's going to be really cool. And I mean, how many of us feel like we just need to get away from the computer, get away from our phones and see each other in person and hug somebody and not have to worry about being judged, you know, because when we go to the grocery store right now, it's like a mission. It's like it's some type of, you know, it's not like it's just a casual stroll there. So I just think you guys, if there's some tickets left and if anybody's compelled to go, grab a ticket and come hang out with us. Kate will be speaking. We're trying to talk James. He is speaking, but right now he's via Zoom unless I convince him to make the flight out there. But he's afraid to wear a mask.
I'm trying there with the idea. I got a big target on me right now, and I'm kind of contemplating how much I want to be on planes and out in public. But that's a long story.
James is like the guy, he's like the bomb squad guy. If you see him running in one direction, you kind of want to be like, what? When I heard James was like, I don't think I'm going to be traveling that month. I was like, well, do I want to travel that month? But no, yeah. I will be there. Anita will be there. Tyler and Aaron will be there, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
John
Jason Alexis.
Yeah, John Vivanco.
I know. I'm sad.
John Vivanco is.
We will live through you guys.
Well, there might be one in Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, if I could just chime in for the Florida conference, they're coming out with a Sunday day pass. So you will be able to see the 4 speakers that are presenting on Sunday, and you will also be able to attend the Beam Me Up Ball with the Sunday day pass. I'm not 100% sure on the price. I don't want to announce anything officially, but it is substantially lower than what the base ticket is. So you will be able to see 4 speakers and go to the Beam Me Up Ball for a substantially lower price than what the weekend ticket price is.
And there's a live stream ticket available too.
Yes.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that they're going to do like a dress up thing, because how often do we get to like be around each other and dress up
and dance? I mean,
yeah. cut a rug.
Yeah.
You guys have to take a lot of good photos so we can
Yeah.
see you all dressed up and having fun. We want to see.
Yes.
Bring me one robe.
Yeah.
My monk robe.
I'll put my tuxedo on. Yeah, I'm excited about that. It'll be nice in some warm weather, which
Mhm.
I have the least to complain about out of
Yeah.
Humidity, though.
cooler. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But
we're all gonna be showing up looking like ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just coming in here from outside, being outside all day. It's like my cheeks are frying and everything. It's just like it's so cold out there.
Mhm.
Walking in here, it's just like,
Mhm.
whoa. Nice.
it's crazy though. At East Study, it would be like one of the days it was 90 degrees or something, but every night it gets cool. It's like very cool at night. I love that.
It does.
We don't have that in Arizona. If it's bloody hot during the day, then it's bloody hot at night. But I kind of like that because I'm a heat person. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
a reptile.
Oh boy.
Laura sent me this. It was not a channeled message. It was supposedly an interview. Anita, did you ever end up watching that? The
did not.
interview with the female reptilian? James, have you ever seen that interview with the female reptilian? It's just
Is that the Lacerta?
Yeah, I did watch that. You know, I've had enough female reptilians in my life, so I'm trying to avoid it. And Manchurian candidates as well. But anyway, yeah, I kind of, you know, I got to kind of lighten up on my attitude towards reptilians because I just don't have any time for them. I've had so many past lives. I've battled with them and everything else that, you know, I just don't I don't spend much time. I try to spend as little time with them as possible, but you know, there may be some good ones out there, but you know, I just, you know, it's hard to give up the old ways, you know, but one day.
You're still learning.
Yeah.
I tell them that whenever we're working,
It
and
tastes like chicken. No, I'm just kidding. No, they just most of them just don't think like we do. They think and act differently, and we're not part of their club, you know. And so the way they look towards us, it's a little demeaning. So anyway, that's
well, what is this interview? I don't know about it.
Here, I'm going to post a link and then I'll send it to you guys later because just to be polite.
Is it different than the Lacerta?
Yeah, the Lacerta one. What did you think of that?
Is that what you're talking about? The Lacerta, like it's like a text kind of interview? Yeah, I remember that was like one of the first things I saw in my awakening journey back in like 2015. And I remember being like really blown away by it, but skeptical because I was really fresh to all that information. And it was the first time I'd experienced any kind of reptilian associated content. But it resonated in the sense that at least the information that was being discussed resonated. And I don't remember specifically like the topics that were brought up other than like, I remember they talked about her levitating an apple in front of the guy and things like that. But it was, for me, it really helped build the foundation for like future information and understandings. Even if it was fake, it's still kind of, I don't know, it opened that channel in my mind.
Yeah. It's interesting because so I haven't talked much yet about my I had my session last week with Allison Coe, and in the past life portion of it, it was actually I was in the secret space program, and I was a human, but I was up there and I was like working on a base, and one of the things that we were doing was monitoring. There was a portal that was opening, or I don't know if there's a better word for it, but some kind of a channel was opening just because of the alignment of the planets or whatever, where all these reptilians were able to pour in to Earth. And but we were just there to monitor it. And the way she's asking me questions about it, and my take on it was kind of like, well, they have just as much right to be here as we do. You know, when we look at good versus evil, we think of ourselves as the good guys, right? We're the ones in the white hats and, you know, riding the white horse. And, but like, you know, they have a different perspective of what they are, obviously. But in this interview, she talks about how there are two versions, basically, of the reptilians, that there were the ones that have been here kind of before even the Earth human. And they're not benevolent or malevolent. They just are, right? Just like Earth humans are. Some are good, some are terrible. And that the ones that didn't belong here did have bad plans for the humans, so we would look at them as being obviously negative. but that, anyway, I just thought that was interesting that theme kind of came up multiple times this week, as it always happens like that, right? But I like that.
Well, with the reptilians also, we have to remember. I don't know. I heard something lately that kind of caught my attention, that even the dark comes here to heal, comes to Earth. It's like a healing planet, and even when they're committing all these terrible crimes, there's karma that's going to actually kick off their healing journey. So it's really interesting if you look at it like that. They're all here.
Yeah.
We all start with amnesia, but then so they don't remember why they're here when they're born. Neither do we. So they're going to go ahead and be that evil, that dark presence on this planet. But little do they know is that now they have to suffer the consequences and the karma. And it might not be as immediate for them, but it is coming. And unfortunately for them, it's going to be a longer journey than a lot of us who are waking up, because we're all just so perfectly healed, right?
And amplified and accelerated right now. So their healing process is going to happen very quickly. They're going to have to go through it very quickly. It's not optional, because that consciousness and energy that's coming in, all that light and energy has with it universal law. And so whatever can't transition or it's not frequency specific to that frequency that's coming in is going to implode. Basically, it's not going to be able to function here anymore. And so if they come in dark, that's going to be even amplified more and accelerate even more. So they're going to have harder, quicker lessons, actually, energetically.
And one other thing, I was having a conversation with Eva. What? Go ahead, Jace. Were you saying something?
Oh no, go ahead, finish. I'll add on when you're done.
Is how we always hear about this split coming up, this split, and we always wonder what it's going to look like. What's going to happen to your family? What's going to happen to the people who aren't going to make it, or whatever it is? None of us know how it's going to play out. I was having a conversation with somebody here the other night, and she said something. She's like, what if all the people volunteering for the vaccine and some of these maskers and the people dying from this right now, and taking the vaccine is almost surely going to shorten your lifespan. What if this is the split? What if those people who are signing up for that, the one that are dying due to this virus or whatever it is, this is their exit plan. And us that are aware, we're avoiding that. So that's where the split occurs, and they're one by one leaving, just not all at the same time.
Getting the Darwin Awards.
Yeah.
Cleaned up the gene pool.
I don't know.
That's bad.
That's interesting.
It's a theory.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I was gonna add on to the reptilian discussion you guys were talking about, because I agree with what you're saying. And on the flip side, I've also observed a lot of humans, or I should say Orion originated and sometimes reptilian, but not reptilian, but Orion originated souls that are coming here to polarize in the opposite direction. And it's like there are some of the souls that you're talking about that are here for the karma, and they are more like these evil being incarnated into positions of power. But then I've noticed on the flip side, there's these really powerful light beings who are soul originated in Orion or reptilian. And it's like they've come here to flip that polarity. And it reminds me in the Law of One, they talk about how the more polarized you are, especially as you move up in the densities towards 5th, 6th density, the more polarized you are, the easier it is to flip polarity in an instant, which is kind of non-intuitive. You would think, oh, how can you go from really evil to really pure, or vice versa? But it's because the fundamental principles of the mechanics and understanding of the fractal nature of the universe and soul lessons and everything, they're so similar. It's just how you're using the same information. Are you using it to just nurture and expand just yourself at the expense of everyone else, or are you using it to help grow and nurture the entire collective? And I've noticed that specifically with these souls. There's some that are the evil ones that are just going through that dark stuff, and there's the other ones that are actually bringing a lot of light to the planet and healing themselves at the same time.
Interesting. Well, it makes sense. Like they say that love and hate are two sides of the same coin with the intensity, and that it's indifference that's actually the opposite of both of them. And so it does make sense that the polarities are actually closer together than just, your average person. But yeah,
There's something to say about the Orion system. It's a massive system, the Orion system, and I know the Law of One kind of brands a lot of the people from Orion all as negative, which is a misnomer. That's one thing I don't agree about it. But in the Orion system, there was these incredible wars between the tall grays and the reptilians and the people from ancient Lyra who colonized the Pleiades, Hades, and the Orion system. And so people locked them into that same group, which is really unfair because these guys have gone through the wars and now they're coming to Earth to help us. And they have all that expertise behind them and that knowledge of who they are, how they operate, and everything else. So it's real important not to lump like the Orion Counts of Light and those colonies that went through those wars and were victorious finally. They went through a lot of suffering, and they're coming here now to help us. So that's it's something we kind of need to discuss, because there are a lot of just beautiful beings coming here to help us. That the Pleiadians are so giddy a lot of times. They're just pure love and joy and bliss and giddy. And the Orions are more tempered because of the wars, and they can see darkness and evil. They see what's going on, and they're really important right now in this awakening and healing process.
it's a good point. Like, would we want to be lumped in with the Clintons and some like stars?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, those Clinton people.
Yeah. And after you've gone through the wars and then to be called a reptilian or something, I mean, it's just like, well, wait a minute, It's just
right. I mean, it's easy for us to compartmentalize and to put, okay, this is like, we're learning. This is how babies learn, right? We learn about shapes and colors, and okay, these are the hearts and these are the squares and whatever. And then you start to learn that everything is nuanced, and that obviously, just like humanity, there's not, I'm sure, maybe there are absolutely malevolent races and absolutely benevolent races as you get higher up. But I have a feeling that anything that is closer to us is going to be a mix.
Yeah. And, J.J. Hurtak talks about, like in the Keys of Enoch, he talks about that. And in the Merkaba, the video, he shows the beings from Orion that were actually generating the light codes for the DNA and things like that. It's an amazing book in the video. What the image they had of these Orion beings were exactly like behind me right here is one of them. Is that image right here is exactly the same thing in his book and the videos. And before I even read the book, I even knew about him. So it's kind of interesting how this is all. This is Melia. Melia is one of the people that initiated me when left the mark in the middle of my chest after.
Oh, you guys jumped in?
Yeah, she took me up off. I was in a bathtub meditating, and she pulled me right out of the ship, out of the bathtub up on the ship, and then sent 3 balls of energy to hit me in the chest, and it left a big red mark in the middle of my chest afterwards. But it's a long story. But all my memories were returned, past lives and off-world lives and things like that.
Wow.
I think that's a theme too that a lot of us are going through is memory recall and memories being unlocked. And just like for me, I definitely know what's happening. I have memories that I can't even explain. And one day I believe I'll be speaking about it, but until then I have to put the pieces together. But I know it's happening. I think that's
they're initiators. They're initiating a lot of people. A lot of people actually incarnated from there to help with this shift we're going through right now.
Well, Anita and I can help you put those memories back together. That's what we're both going to be doing, the hypnotherapy and stuff. And that's what I'm same with me. I'm uncovering all of these memories and stuff like that and making these connections of my past. And like Jace was saying, like even alternate timelines and stuff into the future. I've been having these crazy dreams about time travel also. Like I was just telling Anita before we did this tonight, that I've been like time traveling, and I really think that it's real, because there are I'm not that clever. I'm not that creative. Like, I don't think that my brain is, because there are certain things where I'm like, oh man, that would line up with this date and stuff like that. It just is too perfect. You know how when you have dreams they're all over the place. They're messy. Somebody is one person 1 second and then they're another person the next second. I feel like you know that it's real when certain things are unchangeable, and that's what's happening.
It's a constant. It's a constant in the dream. Yeah, that's how I determine between a dream and an experience.
Yeah. It's so cool. Well, we've gone over the hour, you guys. I want to, before we go over again, just like where everybody can find you, lovely people. Let's start with James and go kind of counterclockwise. I've got your links.
Yeah, you can just go to. Okay, yeah, just go to eSETI.org, or you can go to eSETI Stargate or BBS Radio, and to find us. And we have our Saturday show. We've had Kate on and everybody else, quite a few other people on. Tyler's on there a lot, and check it out.
It is awesome. And James, if you haven't heard of eSETI before, definitely go check it out and learn about it. It is a magical, mystical place, and just way cool. Tyler.
Yeah, it's magical and mystical. Like the third time you get here, the first 2 times, all your buried traumas are going to come up and you have to face them and heal them. Yeah. So
like James was saying, all the mud, but there's gold in there, but you got to flush out all the shit in the mud first.
Yeah.
No, when you come out here, anything that you were trying to ignore or that you had buried, it comes up, it slaps you in the face, and you have to deal with it, but it also is rapidly healed. This place excels anything that you're going through. And this is the first time I've been here where it's, I'm not having anything come up, knock on wood, but it's an entirely different experience. I feel like the healing, I've gotten to a point in my healing to where I'm able to like tap into the land and kind of enjoy it in a different way this time. So it's really cool. And guys, you guys know Journey to Truth podcast, where you can find us. The links are there. Just stay tuned for our episode this week. Turns out we're not done with Secret Space Program Month. We have James Rink coming on. That'll premiere Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Excited for that. Anita, you don't really have anywhere for people to find you, although you just made an Instagram. She's got stuff up and coming, and I will obviously keep you guys posted. But right now you've got an Instagram.
I have an Instagram, Anita_Rose BQH. I also have an email. It's AnitaRoseQH@gmail.com. If anybody wants information or would like to book a BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing session, you could email me. And I will have a website in the coming weeks.
Awesome. Aaron, well, Journey to Truth. I'll post
Tyler said.
Yeah, what Tyler said.
Journey to Truth podcast.
We got to keep it. Aaron, let everybody know. Aaron's in the process of writing a book, and I don't think he's written it enough. So I think you should.
I am.
Yeah, you could read that. That'd be a good one.
Yeah. I'm slowly writing a book. It'll be done someday. I don't know when, but yeah, I guess be on the lookout eventually for that. So,
Probably not next month, I'm guessing.
Not next month, no. Probably not. Unless I get really inspired all of a sudden and just do a ton of writing.
It could happen.
It could happen. I mean, it's possible.
Sorry, I'm getting a link right now, but Alexis?
Yes, I have all my stuff across pretty much all the normal platforms that you would pick under Ascension Diaries. I have a YouTube channel and Instagram are usually my favorite. And if you want to specifically follow me without any social media, I have ascensiondiaries.com. But yeah, my link tree is in the comments now. So all the platforms and stuff I'm projecting my work into are all on there. And that's just been the goal, is basically just get this conversation out there and get as much I can back from it too, because there's a lot of people trained in many different, all the things that I've been studying too. And I love the community process. So it's awesome. So.
By the way,
and my channel is called Cosmic.
I guess they can hear us. I was to say, somebody in the chat said that Aaron's writing the new Bible. So,
yeah,
I am.
The Third Testament.
I'm writing the new Bible.
Yeah, Closet writing the Bible. Yeah.
Sorry.
Someone in the chat.
Sorry, hold on one
Writing
second.
the
Somebody
sequel
asked
to the
if I was
Bible.
Chocolate Wizard. Estimate.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Jace, go ahead. Sorry, I have to open my stupid D Live because I have to do the treasure chest thing because I always forget. But D Live people, don't worry, I will get to you in just a second. That's why I had that weird overlap of sound. Anyway, Jace.
Someone on D Live asked if I was the Chocolate Wizard, and I just want to say I don't think I'm the Chocolate Wizard, but
You love cacao.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What is the
I
Chocolate
do love
Wizard?
cacao.
No, you're the guy.
I
You're the
could
guy
be the
from the Mummy. You're the guy from the Mummy Returns. I don't know what.
Apparently,
Yeah.
which I still have to see. I gotta get the
Is that like
tattoos.
Count Chocula?
But yeah,
Count
Count
Chocula.
Chocula.
Yes.
You guys can find me on YouTube under Cosmic Origins, and I've just started a weekly live stream show called the Cosmic Download on Saturdays at 11 Pacific. And I'm probably going to start doing like kind of mini dance parties on that channel as well, with the DJing dance parties, just to kind of switch up the vibe and like keep it balanced on there. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube there. And then I have a Telegram channel called Cosmic Origins Channel. And then I'm on Instagram under Jace Deface, JAYSEDEFACE.
Awesome.
Thank you for having us on, Kate.
Yeah, you guys, I love you so
Thank
much.
you.
I don't know if I have anything in my chest on D Live. Sorry, you guys. I don't know if I don't know how this works. I need to figure that out, but it's not letting me do the whatever thing. Are you guys on D Live? Because I cannot figure it out for the life of me. It's too much.
Yeah, I just started. I'm on it right now, hoping that you'll do it.
You're waiting for my alms for the poor.
Open that chest.
It's not like it says the distribute rewards is grayed out.
Oh no, maybe they demonetized you or
They
something.
demonetized me. It must have been James's outfit when we got started.
Definitely was.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here with me. I love every single one of you so much, and you're awesome. And I will see you around in my world. And thank you guys so much. Thank you to all my moderators for all your help, even though you probably didn't do anything because
Yeah. Thank you.
each other in my group. All right, love you guys.